It's Positive Tuesday today, August 25th, 2020. I'm Ben Dryden, and you're watching DrydenWire Live. Positive Tuesday with Ben and Fitz is presented by Embrace. Embrace is the leading voice and comprehensive advocacy services provider for survivors of domestic and sexual violence in the 4-county service area of Barron, Washburn, Rusk, and Price counties. Embrace provides unwavering support to survivors. If you or someone you know is experiencing intimate partner violence or sexual assault, it's not your fault, and Embrace is here to help. For free, confidential advocacy and support, head to embracewi.org. Quick programming note, make sure you come back this Friday morning at 8:30 a.m. right here on our Facebook page. I will be joined by John Ellenson for this week's Meet the Candidate. John is a Democratic candidate in the 75th Assembly District race. But today it's Positive Tuesday with benefits, so let's get the other half of our show on here. Barron County Sheriff Chris Fitzgerald. Fitzy, good morning.
Good morning.
How's it going?
Good. How are you?
Good, I think. Yeah, I think so.
Well, then we're done. Positive Tuesday. As long as you're good, the rest of the world must be.
Oh, well, that'd be nice.
I wish that was the case.
So what's new with you since we talked last Tuesday? Anything positive or anything going on in your life the last week?
My daughter started college yesterday, her first year at WITC for nursing, so they started yesterday. So that's a pretty positive thing. I mean, a lot of it's online, but the school's open, and I serve on the board of directors for WITC, all of our WITCs, but I know that college started yesterday, so good luck to all those college students, all those seniors going off to college. And well, there's a little different feel to colleges, but that's pretty positive and pretty cool and pretty exciting. And some high schools started here yesterday. I went to Cumberland and gave a talk to all their students on their first day of school. I have been for the last 10, 12 years. My work anniversary was this week. I've been the sheriff for over 12 years now. So,
Congratulations.
Lots of stuff going on.
12 years.
Yeah.
And as I discovered last time, it was close to your birthday, and I was 4 days off from getting it right, if I recall.
Yeah.
You're still young, 47. So, 12, man, you got a long time left.
Yeah, I do. I enjoy it. I love this, and we're having fun, and I'm on the Ben Dryden show. It's
the
awesome.
Ben and Fitz show, remember? Yeah, because what am I going to do every Tuesday if you decide to retire? Yeah. So everyone that lives in Barron County, please keep electing Chris Fitzgerald as your sheriff, because what am I going to do?
Yeah, Tuesday's a shot. There goes our programming numbers.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, well,
what did you do? How about you?
Nothing. I was literally thinking that this morning. There's no toilets to fix. I had nothing. It was actually really nice. Didn't really do a whole lot. Watched some sports, I guess. Spent time with the family. Dad came over. We played some chess. So that's nice. But no, nothing really else, which is weird.
I've never played chess. I don't know how to play chess.
We're going to do a virtual game of chess, and then we're going to do one of these benefit shows. We're going to do it separately. We'll put it on a group page or something, and it'll just be you and I playing chess. We'll do it remotely. We'll figure out how to do it. I don't know. We'll figure it out.
I'm not afraid to be in the same room with you, but I mean, that's easier.
Well, what people don't know is
that see that now would be a fundraiser.
That means I'm going to have to put some pants on.
Yeah.
Yeah, people don't get to see the bottom half when I'm doing these remote shows. All right, this is going sideways fast. Let's get to some things. Obviously, I wrote down a few things I want to discuss. I put up a post this morning. You had a press release yesterday. I want to talk a little bit about Embrace fundraising, get some ideas from anyone. Obviously, I think the bulk of what we're going to be discussing is probably the officer-involved shooting in Kenosha. Maybe not so much the specifics, but, man, there's a lot to kind of unpack there. So let's get to the first one. I put up a story this morning about, I can't remember his name now. I think it was Mark Holt. And without getting necessarily the specifics, he was the one who had threatened or allegedly had threatened, officers. I'm going to shoot every cop that I see when they show up. You and I had discussed this a couple of weeks ago, or maybe it was a while ago, but shortly after this first happened, he was sentenced and basically he has to pay some fines. When you see that stuff in law enforcement or as a sheriff, or do you have some deputies that come to you and go, what? Now, again, I don't know all the specifics about this, because some of the stuff that we see in public record and in court documents, there's a lot of things that go on in the courtroom. When you see that stuff, maybe not even specifically this, do you go to the DA and say, "What are you doing?" What's that dynamic like?
Sure. Well, if any case, you have to have good communication. And so if we're not happy with any case, and this case is not something we're not happy, we're okay with this because I think there's some backstory here that I don't know if I know the whole story, so I'm not going to comment on it. But I think there's some other things going on between two attorneys that met and said, "Hey, he's going to do this,
sure,
and he's here, and I think he's getting help he needs, et cetera, et cetera." And those are the backstory that we always don't hear. We don't hear every detail of every case that goes through. But if we're not happy with something, definitely we have a conversation with DA Wright or whoever it is. And our police chiefs do the same thing. DA Wright comes to our monthly chiefs meetings and talks about issues that he has and says, "Hey, if you want me to do this, you got to write better reports or this, or I'll charge it. Yeah, maybe we didn't charge what we could there." So something like that. But so that's what we do. So in this case, no, I'm okay because I think there's some backstory here,
Sure.
getting people help and getting people in the right state of mind and everything like that. There's a lot of backstory to a lot of cases that we don't know about, and I think that'll come up again in when we talk about Kenosha. I think we're 5 hours away. We don't know what's going on, and we can't go make assumptions on cases like that.
Yeah.
And I get into that a lot more.
Yeah, and actually, we'll get that here in just a second, but you sent out a press release yesterday, and we did talk about this last Tuesday about the officer-involved shooting in Polk that the Barron County Sheriff's Department was a part of. You had a role in the investigation, just your part. You put something out yesterday that, released the names and that you were sending your, I think, findings to the Polk County District Attorney. Any more that you can talk about there?
Well, yeah, we released, that was kind of a joint press release with the City of St. Croix Falls Police Department Police Chief. We can only release the officers' names. We're doing the shooting part. Obviously, it's split between a bunch of departments.
Yeah.
And one of the media outlets called and said, "How do you separate all these duties?" Well, our duty is we were brought in as the jurisdiction, kind of like DCI is handling the Kenosha thing. DCI wasn't available back on August 8th, so they called us. We're an independent agency that has to do the shooting part of it. So we don't investigate why the cops were there. We only investigate from the shooting forward, or shooting, happens from the shooting and happens after that. We don't why they were there. We don't go to, the crime, the domestic prior to this. But so the St. Croix chief and I released this information. How they got called there, who actually was killed and shot, how it happened, and that goes into our report. It's about a 45-page report, I believe, and it's being delivered right now to the Polk County District Attorney's Office. He makes a review and either clears or says, the officers are wrong and they were charged. Now, in this case, I don't think, I'm 99.9% sure this was a good shoot. I mean, I don't see anything wrong. In fact, I'm 100% sure it's a good shoot. Now, I haven't read every page of every report and every victim statement, so that's why, I'm 99.9% because I didn't read it.
So from your end, from what you went through on your side, that's kind of what it would lead you to believe.
Right. That's what it believes us. I mean, he came to the door. He had a knife, just like the press release said. He made a moan. That we have several witness statements that, showed the officer telling him to drop the knife. There's body cam footage that's going to be released. It's just not going to be released yet until the district attorney reviews it. Now, He releases any evidence forward from here. I don't release the evidence. We have it, but we don't release it because it goes upstairs. It's part of the court process. The district attorney decides on any case when to release the evidence on a case like this. So, but it all, obviously there's somebody that's deceased. That's never good. But law enforcement officers have to do their job and they have to protect. And there was a girl in the motel room that was stabbed several times that they were able to render aid and help. And she's recovering. It's still in the hospital. So obviously 2 weeks later, if you're still in the hospital, it's a pretty serious incident because, they don't keep people in hospitals unless you're in need of that, in today's world. I mean, you learned that from your dad. I mean, once he was okay, they send you home.
Yeah, they kick you out real quick. Yeah, get out of here.
Yeah, they kick you out. which is you're happy to be home, but so
Yeah.
if you're still in the hospital,
There's a reason. Yeah.
Right, there's a reason, exactly, and good point. And so, so we release that. The district attorney will review that. How long he takes to review that could be a day, could be a week, could be a month. I mean, he doesn't have any time frames to do that. These reports, officer-involved shootings, have to be completed within 30 days under the state law. I know the governor wants to put out some new mandates. I think we're jumping the gun a little bit. Or jumping to some things, but I'm not saying law enforcement is perfect by any means. We've never came out and said law enforcement is perfect, but together we can do what's right as our community, and we do what's right here. And I think St. Croix Falls, I feel bad for the two officers. I feel bad for the family of the deceased victim, and the victim that was in the room. Or the suspect. The victim was in the room. The suspect, but. That's just what we do in law enforcement. It sucks. I feel really bad for the two officers that were involved in this, and only one of them fired their weapon. The other one couldn't because he wasn't in the right spot. He didn't have the target isolation, target acquisition, and he's got to have all these things that we're trained to do, and so that's what's makes our job, and we have to make those split-second decisions. And I think we're fine here. I think we're good, and hopefully all these other shootings turn out to be the same.
Yeah, and we'll get to the Kenosha one. Let's a quick one to bring up the Embrace fundraising. I think we'd ask anyone. So if anyone is watching right now, we're trying to come up with something, because Embrace isn't just a sponsor of the show. Embrace is. It's a nonprofit. You can go to embracewi.org, learn more about them and all the wonderful things they do. We usually put up a post every Tuesday morning that has more information on our website at DrydenWire.com. And because of COVID and before the Safer at Home, they're really limited on their ability to be able to do some fundraising. So, of course, you and I are huge supporters of, obviously, Embrace. So we're trying to figure out what we can do to help them. I think if we really just sat down for like half an hour, we could come up with like 6 ideas, right? But if anyone has an idea on what we could do, something even if it included our show or having somebody come on, or I don't know. I don't know if you've thought of anything yet, Chris. I think we're going to be talking this Thursday a little bit more about it.
Right. A lot of people want us to do some virtual things. We can't go out and have a golf tournament today. You can't go out and have a dinner. I'm part of a lot of groups that want to have some fundraisers, and fundraising just is dropped off, and these agencies depend on it. So we need to come up with something to help Embrace out. That's our job. We're both serve on that fundraising committee with some other people, and we just need some ideas. So if there's ideas out there, please let us know.
Hey, what about if it's virtual? What about, I don't know how we would do this or if it's possible. I don't know if they even do these on TV anymore. What are they called? A telethon.
Yeah.
I don't know how we would do it, but
we can do it. We can do it live right here. We'll have a little board behind us, and I'll flip the number $1, $2.
You know what? Actually,
it's $5.
Yeah.
I have a $5 pledge.
That actually,
that.
I know it sounds okay. We'll see if maybe that has some legs to it.
Yeah.
We'll figure it out. We'll have maybe even different people come and sit down as well. And
we'll
chat.
sing in between. We're like, oh no, calling, and let's sing. And we can dance and. Yeah.
Okay, let's move on.
Yeah, probably not.
The telethon. I think a version of it or something. I think could work.
Yeah. Wasn't that always on New Year's Day or something like that? When was the Jerry Lewis telethon? Is there a word? It was.
Yeah, and I don't even know what they were raising money for.
Yeah. Yeah. Muscular dystrophy, wasn't it?
I don't remember. I never actually watched one.
Yeah. I was glued to the TV. I don't.
All right, I'll YouTube it. All right, so let's get to the situation that was in Kenosha, the officer-involved shooting there. I literally have no questions written down. I don't even know where we kind of want to go this, but first I just want to get, when you first saw this or heard this, and you first started learning about it, whether you're assuming you're reading it somewhere, what was your first thought?
Well, yeah, it's going to go bad quickly. I mean, I just knew that they were going to go burn the city down and burn stuff and riot, and that's just, we just got to get away from that. You can protest, you can, and I don't know right from wrong in this case. I don't have any details of it. I don't know I saw the 10-second video clip. Obviously, there's more to that story. I don't know why they were there. I've read some things on why they were there. I have no idea if it's accurate or not.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I think we're all making assumptions 5.5 hours away about something, and I don't know why he was shot, what he was reaching for. It's just, there's some talk about him having a knife. I mean, all of this stuff is all information that we just need to relax and think about, and just let it come out. Let the investigation happen. Let the detectives. I mean, my understanding is they pushed the crime scene. They were managing the crime scene and doing that, and the protesters pushed the cops right out of the crime scene. Well, that doesn't do us any good of finding evidence and looking for evidence and things like that. So, we cannot put gas on the fire.
Correct. I think, first of all, you're 100% right, because just this morning I was looking through, just your Facebook feed and seeing some comments, and it seems like people are on one side or on the other, but man, we just don't know yet. We don't see, as my Uncle Al, a detective for I don't know how many, 30-some years in the Chicago area, he's always said, man, when I see these things, these video clips of a shooting, not towards a black, it doesn't matter, just police shootings. You see a 2-minute clip or a 20-second clip, I want to see the 20 seconds or the 2 minutes before it. That tells a lot more. But the point is, we just don't know. But instead of making a decision, I do think this is a time to have a discussion. Now, what that discussion is, I suppose, is different for everybody. But for some reason, everyone just feels the need to, this is what I think happened, and I'm very upset about it. Well, we just don't know what happened.
Right. And you're exactly right. We just don't know what took place here. I'm not saying cops are perfect. I'm saying let the process take its place. Yeah. If the cops are wrong, they'll be charged. If they're not wrong, they'll be freed, or told it was a justified shoot. Mm. And that's where we're at. And I'm not saying race isn't an issue out in the world. I have no idea if race was the issue here. But let's decide and say, it was an issue or wasn't an issue. We can have those discussions, but burning stuff down, wrecking stuff, people's properties, not acceptable. It's not. And I know people are going to say they're not going to like that we said that, but we've just got to treat people with respect. And I understand there's some people in different races that don't feel respected, and they're trying to get the attention. Mm-hmm. But I don't think that's the right way to get attention.
Yeah, and there obviously is a race issue in America. And this isn't like a recent thing. Like, what? There always has been. And it needs to kind of stop. Right? And we all know that. And in time, hopefully it will. Right. Doing the going to the conclusion or coming to the conclusion that immediately this was race involved. This was because it was a white cop, because it was a black person that was shot. And by the way, I think I saw this morning he's in stable condition. The person that was shot, so that's good, right? That's positive. But I didn't think that right away. But then again, I guess I just think differently. I didn't think, oh boy, he shot him because he was black. I mean, I don't know what was in this guy's heart. Maybe he actually did. No clue. But boy, that's a big jump to say that he actually did, for sure. I don't know. I have no clue. The individual in Polk County, the incident we just talked about. I don't know. I don't know how far I want to get into that. Just, it's just interesting that we immediately jump to race when I just don't know if that's it. Nobody really knows if that was the motivating factor here. Let me move on from that, because I think I'm going to get myself in trouble if I keep talking.
That was during the day, so you can see the thing in Kenosha. The one that happened in St. Croix Falls, it's 12:15 at night. Right. In a dark, I don't know if they even knew what color he was, if he was a blue person or a pink person. I don't know if it was dark. They got flashlights, but they're looking for guns, they're looking for this, they're not looking to see what color the person is. And so I get there's racism, and we've got to fix that, and that's the discussion we want to have. And I'll be part of any discussion. We were part of it here in Barron when we talked about the Minneapolis thing. We went to the park and had a discussion, and the Somali population is a culture here in Barron, and we want to make sure that they feel welcome and when they stood up and said, we've never been discriminated against by a cop in Barron County, that made me feel good. That's our role. And if there was a cop in Barron County that discriminated against somebody because of their color, they'd be in my office and there'd be some problems. I
Mm.
mean, we have to hold people accountable. Cops, lawyers, doctors, teachers, whoever. We hold everybody to the same standard.
Mm-hmm.
And cops get held to a higher standard and probably should, because we carry a gun and
Yep.
we can do that. So I understand that. I get it. But we can't jump to conclusions right away and have these riots, and now cops have to work overtime and have to miss a vacation. And, that's just part of law enforcement. But there's better ways to do this, I think, and maybe we're getting there, and maybe it took this to get us to here. But I don't know. I'm not. We're somewhat shielded up here to the north a little bit. We're probably a little naive when it comes to that. You and I have had these discussions, so I just hope everybody, gets to move forward and has some good talks on this.
I hope so. And we've talked about many different things in the show. We've talked about race, and of course, like with Embrace, that is the sponsor for the show. It kind of aligns, which is why we asked if they'd want to be, because it aligns with kind of your and my belief system as well. And that belief system is simply, when you peel everything back that separates us, and the things that separate us aren't necessarily bad. It's just facts. They separate a man and a woman, or whatever you identify as. Your religious belief system, your social status, how much money you make, what car you drive. If you're a Republican or a Democrat, there's so many things that we could separate us into different categories. But when you peel everything back, we're just human beings. And for some reason in Northwest Wisconsin, I love it up here because it just seems that way. It seems like everyone is just helping each other as neighbors and as a person. We don't care about really any other thing. We don't see you as anything different than just you're a person.
Well, for the most part, that is true. Especially in the time of need, we really reach down and we get rid of all of those other labels that we put on people, and we just make things happen. And that's what I've been proud of, from the Kloss case to our tornadoes to everything we've always talked about, to Embrace. I mean, people have supported our nonprofits, whether it's the library, the Boys and Girls Club, Embrace, whatever it is. People do that to help each other out, humane societies, everybody.
Mm-hmm.
But there is a lot of labeling, and we just got to get beyond that and just go make a difference.
Yeah, I mean, there are people I don't like, but it's not because of any label or category. I just think you're a jerk. Right? That's all. I mean, I hate everyone equally. How about that?
Everyone I don't like, I do equally.
Right, exactly. What did you think when you saw Governor Evers' press release? He sent out like at 10:30 on Sunday night. What did you think when you read that?
Too soon. Sure. I mean, you just don't have the details. Or you put details like, hey, I'm praying for the guy that was shot. I'm praying for the police officer. Let's not have any violence. You can have 3 messages in your thing, but I just think saying, he could have said, let's not be Minneapolis or whatever it is. Let's learn from that and let's do something different here in Wisconsin. Maybe it's the same issue, but let's learn and do something different so we're not burning down businesses that people depend on for milk for their kids or whatever it is. Yeah. So I think it needed to be more complete. If I don't care that he wrote it. I mean, he's the governor; he can do whatever he wants.
Sure,
right. And but you just be complete and have a full story, and just say, let's hit the pause button. We'll get to this. I'll fight for it if it's wrong. If it's right, I'll defend it. But you just can't. I mean, maybe he knew something, I don't know, but that's pretty early into it.
Yeah.
Yeah, they get all the way to the governor's office.
Yeah, I thought that's why it was really interesting. I happened to be up and I was outside, and I get my phone went off and I saw the email, and I'm like, Evers is sending a press release at 10:30 on a Sunday night. It must be big. So I looked at it and saw shooting. I'm like, uh-oh. Like, literally, that's the first thing I thought of was, oh, please don't be a white cop shooting a black person. And then, of course, it says right there that it was. And I'm like, oh, man, this isn't good. I mean, not only is it not good that a person got shot, but also, like you said, it's going to be rioting. There's going to be, I thought we were kind of getting past some of this, and we're moving on, and we've kind of learned, and we're all better, and then this happens. But, boy, I read some of that stuff, and I went, okay, that was surprising. I'm really surprised that the governor said some of the things, or in the manner that he said it. I was a little taken back by it. I really was.
Right. And I was, too, and I think all cops were. and it looks like he's against law enforcement.
Right. And I'm sure he isn't, but I don't know. I read it. I'm like, I don't think cops are going to be happy with you right now either.
Yeah, and it just, we've got to come together, and that's not how you bring people together.
Yeah.
You don't separate us to bring us together. It's just not how it works. So I see there's a question you want me to answer.
Sure. I didn't even see it. From Jed?
Yeah, Jed said, what's your take on the Barron County Health Officer? Very controversial thing going around the Facebook right now.
I didn't know about any of this. This is breaking news for me.
Oh, well.
As in, like, I didn't know.
Yesterday, there was going to be a Health and Human Services meeting that talked about a county health officer ordinance, where the county health officer has certain powers. And power's a big word. I don't know if I like the word powers, but I'm paraphrasing because it's a random question. But there's some checks and balances that are being put in by the county board on this Barron County health officer. It's not somebody coming in ruling, hey, I'm going to close down Barron County because I'm the health officer and I want to because it's Tuesday morning and it's 9 a.m. and I'm looking for something to do. There's a checks and balances. If the Barron County health officer, whoever that person that Barron County puts in that position, and Laura Save is our current health officer, and I'm not worried about Laura, but I get everybody's worried about the next person they put into that position. So I understand that thought process that people have out there. But the county's put in checks and balances. It's not something like if I close down your DrydenWire because whatever, you have some kind of health issue, with the people that you serve, DrydenWire's closed, and I'm the health officer, and I say, Ben, you got to close. Mm-hmm. Well, you're like, I don't want to close. I'm an American, and I have the right to do whatever I want, and you don't close. Well, then she can give you a ticket. And then if she closes you down or says she's going to close you down and you don't, there's a fine. It's not an arrestable offense, how I'm reading it. And I haven't read it completely, so I'm not the expert on this. Jeff French and our county board is. But as Romaine put on there, it has to go through 3 committees. First is the Health and Human Services, then it's the executive, and then it's our county board. But it's checks and balances for elected officials to make some of these decisions. And I think that's where some people are missing some of that. So I think there's a lot of discussion that needs to happen, and that's what we're doing in Barron County. And I appreciate the input. I think it's good for our county board members to have that input. I welcome that. There was a bunch of people. The meeting had to be moved because there was too many people. It's now Monday at 9:30, I think is when it is. Don't quote me on the time, but it's next Monday. There's a meeting here in Barron, in our auditorium to discuss this issue, and I'm sure there'll be a lot of people that come there, and I'm sure I'll probably have to go there, just like we were at the little protest in Turtle Lake this morning over electrical.
Whoa! So don't gloss over that.
Yeah. We'll get to the protest in Turtle Lake.
Okay.
But so there's a lot of discussion that needs to take place. So call your county board representative. I'm 100% okay with that, and bring up your opinion on what you think and tell them so that they can make a great informed decision.
Well, you're okay with it because you're not telling them to call you.
Yeah,
I'm perfectly fine if you want to call them. Here's all their phone numbers.
Yeah. Well, that was already shared out there. So,
nice.
So I think there's a checks and balances. I think that's why it's important. And my understanding, and I don't know this, but there is a lot of counties already have this. We just don't have it here in Barron County. Maybe it's a timing issue because it's COVID and people think we're going to shut down the county. I understand that too. I get that part from a business standpoint, but it's got to go through a lot of committees. Even if it passes Monday, there's 2 more committees it's got to go through. So just because it passes or gets defeated on Monday, it's kind of not the end of the story.
Sure. And it also sounds like, because there is some steps here, that also means if you do have a concern, you've got some time.
Yep, it's not going to be done. The issue isn't done on Monday, even if it passes or doesn't.
Yeah, and so you also have time to make sure you reach out to if you do have a concern or if you want more clarification. You got some time. Make some calls.
Yep. And they're all the numbers of all of our county board reps are on our county website, barroncountywi.org or .gov, I think it is. Sorry, and we'll, that's how elected officials earn their money, I guess. They get that, and I get it all the time when I go places, and whether it's Walmart or wherever you're at, people ask you questions, and that's what we are as elected officials, is we answer to the people.
Or on the Ben and Fitz show.
Yeah, or on the benefit show. Yep, exactly.
So here's the question: what is going on at Turtle Lake this morning?
Yeah.
There was a protest.
there was a protest this morning. Xcel Energy is building some kind of substation out on the outskirts of Turtle Lake, which is by a kind of a housing complex. And some of the people didn't know about it or said they didn't know about it and wanted to block the road this morning so that Xcel couldn't come in and start the building process. And there was about 40 people that live in this house or in this complex. So Chief Gabi and I attended that to make sure the crew got in there okay this morning. And there was 4 people that protested and had signs and were going to block the road. And we moved them over to their right to protest. They have the legal right to be there. They can't be on Xcel's property and they can't be on the road, but there's a right of way that we were able to give them, and part of the driveway we let them sit there and have their signs and they can do whatever they want, but you can't block people's driveway. And we got accused of taking the side of big business, and I mean it was a good conversation was had.
Sure.
No one was taken to jail. There was no arrests, and and we actually left when they started working. And I think the ladies are still there watching them work, and that's fine. And again, their legal right to do whatever they need to do and take it up with City Hall, but they had the proper permits. Chief Gabi checked on that, and away they went.
I didn't know you could have a protest with 4 people, and I'm not being sarcastic. I guess I don't really know if what the number is. 2? I don't think one person could. Well, maybe they could. I don't know. I guess I've never thought about that.
I suppose if I didn't like something, I can just, have a sign and protest DrydenWire and go in front of your building and protest away.
We've had those every once in a while. But not the sign.
I'm starting one. That's it.
No. Someone didn't like, a couple weeks ago, someone didn't like something that we had published which was from someone else that we just published it. Yeah, and they were calling and emailing and calling our advertisers saying, you got to stop advertising DrydenWire. And it's, what? Just because you don't like something. First of all, just don't read it. Or just stop reading. I don't know. Just turn the channel. But, yeah, they were adamant. I guess that was their way of protesting. I mean, and again, if you want to protest, that's fine. But, man, trying to destroy business because you disagreed with something, my mind would never go there. Well, I don't like what they're doing, so now I'm going to, try to destroy them. What? No, whatever.
I don't like ice cream, so I'm going to go protest Matt's
ice cream. Yeah, exactly. Every single person that goes there, don't get this ice cream.
That's right. I mean, I don't get it either, but I understand it. And like I said, this public health ordinance officer is the perfect way to, I'm a taxpayer in Barron County, and this is what I like or I don't like about it, and this is who I call to do it, and that's how you do it. And go to the meeting, and you get public comment, and there's a whole process in place for people to make a difference. And here's a way you can make a difference. If you like it or you don't like it, here's what you do. And the people I can tell you, it'll be a full crowd on Monday. I'm sure of it, just because you get your feed off Facebook and you can feel it. I mean, just like we're getting the feed from Kenosha, we can see there's a lot of stuff going on in Kenosha, and I feel really bad for the Kenosha County Sheriff's Department and Police Department that have to deal with this. Whether the cop is right or wrong, again, we don't get to take that into play. We just got to go enforce the laws the next day. Yeah. And that means stopping people from doing X, Y, and Z.
And 4 people protesting.
Right. Well, we didn't know if we were going to have 40 or 4. And when 4 showed up, we left. I mean, the ladies we outnumbered them 5 cops to 4 protesters. And so one of our cops left, and it was Chief Gabi, myself, and our captain, and one of our sergeants. And then we said, you know what, this is going to be okay. They're fine. We're fine. We're going about our duties. We were there, an hour.
And like you said, you had a discussion with them.
Right. I said, I'll bring coffee back if you guys are here later on. I'm not taking coffee back, but I said, don't cause problems so we don't have to come back here. And it worked out fine. I get it. I get why they're upset. There were some nice trees that got cut down, and they were on the edge of town, and it kind of was like living in the country. I understand it. I don't get to make that observation as a law enforcement officer. They have a permit to build this. They can't block the driveway, just like I can't block your driveway of your house. You can't block their driveway to their business, and I understand it, but I don't get to make that. My heart doesn't get to get into the issue. The law has to follow through.
Yeah, it's your job. Similar to what I was saying earlier, it was submit a post. That's what we do. There's things we publish that I don't agree with, but that's just what we do.
Right.
I don't pick and choose. If I did that, holy cow. Can you imagine there's things that a Republican will send, and it's don't agree with that. I don't agree with that. I don't like how they worded that. I don't edit it. And same thing with Democrats. But man, picking and choosing, and for me, it'd be like, or the analogy for you and I is for you picking and choosing what laws you follow and which laws you enforce, and for me, which press releases I publish. Yeah, it just can't work that way. It just can't. I have to take the emotion out of it and be objective and just and stay consistent. That's all you can do, man.
You don't have to. You're the owner. I mean, at least I answer to the people, so I can get reelected. I mean,
that's right. I can do what I want.
You're right. I mean, but you're the boss. You can,
All right. Yeah.
Right. You're the man.
I'm going to start getting that ban button out real fast.
Yeah. You need a red button on your desk, and
I'm gonna see if they have one on Amazon. Hey, before I let you go, we should do a poll question.
Yeah, we should.
I can't either, but we'll do. Well, we got to think of something, or even when we get off air, something for sometime today. I'll put up a poll question, leave it up for a week on our Facebook page. It'll just be on Facebook. Maybe we'll put it on DrydenWire too, or on our website. But then we will talk about the results of that, and some of the comments. If any comments are in the poll, usually we put a poll up. There's some comments. We'll then discuss that next Tuesday. Any idea what we should ask?
Right now, the only issue is Barron County Health Officer. Maybe that's your poll question. I mean, that's driving a lot of the Facebook questions. I mean, it doesn't have nothing to do with law enforcement. So it has something to do with Barron County, and I'm part of Barron County, and I'm a supporter of our public health. I mean, I think, there's a COVID update. Our numbers are dropping. I mean, we're doing good. Our kids are going back to school. I just want to remind people that school zones are starting back up. There's going to be kids back in our school zones. Cumberland and New Auburn started yesterday. Turtle Lake starts this week. I think another school starts this week. So, our schools are back in session. Our kids are doing good. I think our kids will be resilient. I think this COVID thing, they'll be able to master this. I hope we don't have an outbreak where schools have to close. Our kids want to be in school. We need to keep them safe. I believe in our kids that they can do this. I told the kids in Cumberland that yesterday. I said, there's people that don't think you guys can wear your mask and manage it all day. And our elementary kids did in summer school, and I think our kids will show the world again they can conquer anything, and they'll do a great job. But our school zones start back up, so it's 15 when kids are present in a school zone, and just remember that as schools. Starting today, moving forward to next Tuesday, all of our schools start next Tuesday for sure. So be very vigilant in our school zones.
Yeah, because it's been a while since they've been in school.
Right, 5 months.
Yeah, no kidding. And by the way, parents also want the kids to go back to school. Yeah. Speaking as a parent.
Yeah, and there's virtual options out there. So, and I know the sports are a big issue in Rice Lake, and a lot of the big rivers decided to play. Some Eau Claire schools didn't, and I see they had a protest. Again, the kids marched down the street. They didn't block traffic. They didn't tip over police cars yesterday in Eau Claire. They just did what they were supposed to do to make things happen, or what they thought should happen. Yeah. Whether the people vote that way or not, then they'll have an option to vote those school board members out, or there's county members, or whoever they want out at the next election. And that's how the process works, and that's what we need to get back to.
I think we just lost. We have no sense of patience at all anymore.
Yeah,
just want it right now.
Yeah, and that's what the cell phone has given us, because everything is at our fingertips all the time. That's the cell phone craze. That we want our sports scores, we want our weather, we want to know when something happens in the crime world. We have these alerts, we have these code red alerts. The sheriff will tell me if something bad's happening. I got my phone right here. So and then when you don't do a code red alert right away, people get upset. Yeah. And I get it. And so we have to keep thinking about that thing as technology evolves and things like that happen. So
you sound like an old person. The old cell phones. Hey, those kids in their long hair and their rock and roll music.
When we had our flip phones, we had to text.
Oh, it took forever. Took forever. Yeah, it's funny. I know we have to go, but you brought up. You just said that with our cell phones, instant access. I put up a story earlier this week about somebody being charged or something. I don't remember where it was from. And someone said, man, this was like a month ago that's not really news anymore, or something like that. And they're kind of criticizing us for doing it. And it's okay. So I literally just mapped out. Okay, so first, how it works is the person will get arrested, but it takes a while before, or if anything, a district attorney decides to prosecute anything, and that was a couple of weeks later. I mean, it's a process. It takes a little while, but it was just kind of funny that, man, DrydenWire, you're not fast enough. Well, we're doing the best we can.
Behind.
Yeah. Well, and again, technically, it wasn't filed until like 2 weeks ago.
Right.
So, just relax.
You don't get alerts on your phone. You need to call the clerk of court's office. I need to know exactly when. As soon as you charge somebody, you call me.
No, I'm going to go right to the district attorney, right to Aaron Markel. I want to know everything you're doing at all the time. Just send me a text on my phone.
Yeah,
we'll see how that goes.
Yeah. See how that goes. Yeah, let me know.
Thanks, Fitzy.
I appreciate it. Stay safe, and we're all in this together.
You've been watching Positive Tuesday with Ben and Fitzy, presented by Embrace. If you or someone you know is experiencing intimate partner violence or sexual assault, it is not your fault, and Embrace is here to help. For free confidential advocacy and support, head to embracewi.org. Reminder, this Friday, I'll be joined by John Ellenson for this week's Meet the Candidate, which will air right here on our Facebook page at 8:30. So until then, stay safe, keep your social distance, and as always, have a blessed day.